Greetings, beloved beings of light. Hope your day is most beautiful, blessed. Happy solstice, June solstice in the north. We're celebrating today, June 20th, Friday, the summer solstice. In the south, it's the winter solstice. And the solstice means sun still, the stillness of the sun. For our ancient ancestors, that discovered and worked with astrology and astronomy, they saw these patterns in nature. You see, and the solstices are when the sun reaches the ends of the tropics. You see, the tropics, for those that don't know, run through the center of the earth. It's like a belt around the earth. And in the north, we have the Tropic of Cancer, in the south, the Tropic of Capricorn, and right through the middle, the equator. That's for the equinox. So the sun through the seasons follows this pattern. It's the sine wave I talk a lot about. It's the pulse of the universe. All things in nature follow this frequency, this resonance. All sound, everything is sound. Everything is light. You see, light and sound, everything expands as a sphere and contracts as a square. So in two-dimensional, to represent this pulse of the expansion and contraction, we symbolize it with the sine wave, that S pattern, that flows through different charts and symbols and all different things. It's the S in the alphabet. It's the sound of the snake, the serpent. So it's symbolizing duality also. It's the sine wave, the frequency, the expansion, the compression that creates the simulated motions, or the simulation we call the matrix or Maya illusion. You see, Walter Russell taught these things, Dr. Walter Russell, that everything expands as a sphere and compresses as a square. Everything expands non-linear, spatially, and compresses linearly, into that still center. The still white magnetic light at the center of all things. It's magnetic, it pulls you in. It's still, it never moves. And that center is everywhere. It's what one might call God, source, truth, love, all these concepts that point to that source, to that still white magnetic light at the center of all things. And beyond that, we call Wakantanka, or the great mystery. Beyond all concepts. See, the still white magnetic light is still a concept. But as an enlightened being of Buddha mind, of Christ consciousness, we transcend even that. We go beyond all concepts and forms, and even beyond the formless and timelessness. So today, I'm going to release the first part. I'll release all three, but in this section, the beginning, I'm going to record several parts in different locations, different portals, to bring all this energy together through this most powerful solstice. This is one of the most powerful anchor points of all space-time continuums. We've reached this culmination point. This is a harmonic convergence point, on this June 20th, 2025. So joining me today are two of my friends here, our Trinity, which we're auctioning off. The auction will be over, so thank you everyone that joined us in that fundraiser to keep our channel going. And then also my new friend here, our Andara water crystal of Lemuria, which I'll be auctioning off soon. I'm working with the energy of her for the next few days, next week or so, to bring it in. This is Lemurian energy. This is Venusian, the Elven nation, this blue crystal, the Andara crystal. This one came to me from Sedona, the very powerful portal of Sedona. So it's holding the energies of several vortexes within the body of this water elemental. This is the dolphin and whale, the cetacean nation energy is held within this, throat chakra. Also connecting with the water element, the kidneys, bladder. I'll teach more about that in a future video when I promote this. So we're going to start this transmission here with the bell. You see I have my dragon bells here. I've used this in many ceremonies, many teachings, many guided meditations in dojos and meditation halls. So we'll ring the bell 3 times, take some slow, deep breaths. It's just to prepare the mind, open up sacred space for all of you for the coming transmissions, and be sure to stick around to the very end of these transmissions and Dharma talk for my sacred condors. Very special solstice guided meditation. So take some slow, deep breaths. You know, our breath is our greatest ally, our greatest tool in the ascension and in the awakening and enlightenment. You know, the breath work is some of the most important work we can do for our energy work, to build chi, to breathe in the prana, you know, the sacred energy of the cosmos, of the universe, of creator, of God, of truth. You know, we say chi in Chinese, either C-H-I or Q-I. Most Chinese words are spelled 2 different ways, you know, before the British went in and after the British occupied. So we ring the bell for each Dan Dian. The lower Dan Dian, it's the belly, you know, for the physical, for the past. There we go. Oh yeah, sing it out. Shoo. Slow breathe in and out the nose. And smile into your lower Dan Dian. Breathing in the heavenly chi, the golden chi. This is the ki in Reiki, universal life force. We breathe in the energy, the life force of the cosmos, of the universe, of source, creator, God, whatever name you want to give to the Tao, to truth. So put your awareness in your heart center, middle Dan Dian. 73 coming in, 37 into 73, the 144. Upper Dantian, the spirit, see, middle, present, non-physical, see, lower, physical, middle, non-physical, spirit, upper Dantian. We're the crystal palace in the center of the brain, so let us resonate that crystal palace with the frequency of these bells, the dragon bells. Whew. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om. Smile, 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 ground, ground, ground. We ground and anchor deep into the earth through the descension, and we smile through the ascension. We open our heart with a gentle smile. Smile, smile, smile. We have a whistler joining us here for this transmission. The sound of light, the higher frequency of resonance that comes through this portal, your sacred heart portal. For your heart is a stargate. Your heart center is a stargate. You feel into that energy that resonates from your still center and out into your field, your quantum field. See, the universe is holographic in nature. One part is the whole thing. So I want to finish in the talk I gave the other day. I forgot to complete a train of thought, a path of thought. So I was jumping timelines, sometimes it's hard to follow a linear path, especially these days as we're bringing in infinite multidimensionality. So I started to talk about the holographic nature of the universe. You see, everything we think we experience out here is actually happening in the brain. Although external information's coming in through our five senses and our sixth sense, our intuition, our vision, our gnosis, our five senses, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, our mind. You see, the sound comes through our ears and through the auditory, nerve, the optical nerves in the eyes. You see, the light comes through our eyes. The pupil in the eyes is a portal. It's a black hole. It brings in light and information, and the optical nerve sends that signal, that information to the brain. And in the neocortex, in the brain, different parts of the brain work together, but in that center of the brain, in that part of the brain, recreates all the information that we bring in as a 3D hologram, and that's what our consciousness experiences. It's very strange, but it is really basic science, you see, because the taste on our tongue sends that signal to the brain, and we recreate whatever information that sensory organ, we say the five skandhas, the five senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, our feeling self, what we feel on our skin, and our body sends that signal to the brain, and the light, the colors come in, and we recreate this in real time in a holographic form within our brain. And that's what our consciousness experiences. And many times this information filters through certain veils, we might call it, which is belief systems, ideologies, and they might warp that information a little, so that's why our perception creates our reality, or works hand in hand. That's how we edit our reality, is by realizing we are a conscious co-creator. We take this information and we do what we will. This is all energy, you see. All energy is neutral. You can do good things with energy, you can do bad things, It's the rise and the fall. Energy itself has no polarities. It's within the linearity, within the motion, within the form that we have a positive and negative. We have polarities, a north and a south, a rise and a fall, a birth and a death. All these things follow that sine wave we call in Taoism the one law. Some call the law of one. It's the pulse of the universe. So we experience in our brain, it's the receiver, and the interpreter. It's one great mind used to say there's two parts of the brain, the thinker and the prover. The thinker thinks what the prover proves, and the prover proves what the thinker thinks. It's very simple, so we reinforce our beliefs by proving it to ourselves that this exists or that doesn't exist. Then we follow out these patterns and stories, and many times are manipulated by information that's been transmitted into our brain, starting as a child. That maybe that lie, that propaganda that you are a limited being, or that you're separate from God or from Source, or that you're a sinner, whatever these things are, that you're less than, We're here to break those paradigms, especially many people from my generation, the X generation, and following through, we have many baby boomers, all these generations with us, and many millennials and so forth, My sacred condor and our children have to explain what all these, these concepts. Growing up, we didn't have, generation X's and Y's and Z's. We knew baby boomers, like born during that big boom during the, after World War II, in the late 40s, early 50s, whatever, into the 60s, when there was a big boom in population, people were celebrating, after the war, like our economy went from the Great Depression into this thriving, economy and all these things, So I just went off on another tangent. So let's talk a few minutes about the solstice. the solstice energy, the sun stillness. For the sun, the solstices, you have the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Today, June 20th, when we put this video out, the sun reaches its northernmost point in its journey through the tropics. You see, for those that don't know, the tropics run through the middle of the earth. It's like a belt around the earth, from in the north, the Tropic of Cancer, to the south, Tropic of Capricorn, which is the winter solstice in the north. You see, it's reversed. Right now, I'm in the north. It's the summer solstice. If you're in the south watching this video, south of the equator of the tropics, that's winter for you, So we just say the June solstice. But we're celebrating the summer solstice here because it's the beginning of summer, this fire energy coming in. Let's see. So our ancient ancestors, the astronomers, astrologers, all these things followed the pattern of the sun. A lot of sun symbolism, especially through these religions, We have sun and moon symbolism, and Saturn, all these things, It's Israel, the three gods of Egypt, Isis, Ra, and El. Isis, the moon. That's why pagans worship on Monday. It's the moon. The Ra is Ra. Ra is the sun. That's why, Christians, the sun, Sunday. And El Shaddai, Elohim. El is Saturn, symbolize Saturn. That's why, Saturn Day, Saturdays, the Jewish worship, the Jewish religion, So they saw this pattern, the sun following this pattern through the celestial ways. So they mapped out on the earth, running through the center of the equator, that's the equinox, when the sun rises and sets on the equinox, is in between the two solstices. So it follows this pattern. And following this pattern, our ancient astronomers and, the Greeks through Plato and Pythagoras, all these, they watched this. It's where a lot of, geometry came from this. And mathematics, you see, the Great Spirit, God, is a master mathematician, of course, with these geometries, sacred geometries, and geometric patterns and sacred symbols. All these things come from observing nature and the cosmos. So we see that the sun moves in this pattern over and over the earth in the tropics. And the northernmost is the for us, summer solstice, which is on the Tropic of Cancer. This is where we go into the Cancerian season, the season of Cancer, the crab, in astrology. So that it rises on the Tropic of Cancer, the sun, as they observe from Earth, in the zodiac sign and the constellation of Cancer, they mapped it out on the Earth, and the sun, so for 3-4 days, rises in that same spot. It doesn't move, and it's ecliptic, as it's moving north and south through this pattern, through the seasons. You see, in each day in its movement, it moves 1 degree. You see, and it's 360 days, 365, but we have, a few days of solstice where the sun doesn't move north or south at all. It rises. You see, in the winter solstice on the 21st, and usually 21st, 21st are the solstices. So winter solstice 21st, so it rises in the same location for 3 days, 4 days, and the 25th, it moves 1 degree north. And that's, they say, the birth of the sun. That's why for hundreds, thousands of years, people worship the birth of the Son of God on the 25th. Most people know this by now. Any Gnostic person, a person of knowledge, realizes this, the symbol of that. And now on the 20th of June, for several days, it will rise in the same location and then start moving south again, 1 degree a day. You see, and it moves through these patterns, 180 degrees, half, 90, 90 degrees is to the equator, and another 90, and it follows these patterns over and over. That's how they mapped out, the ancients mapped out latitude, longitude, all these things by what they're observing, with nature and with the stars and our local Solaris, of course, our closest star, our closest sun. So rising, and we enter Cancer season, the season of the crab, water element, a very divine feminine energy. See, we have a very powerful week in this space-time continuum. A lot of energies coming in. Our sun is becoming very active again. We had close to an X-class flare yesterday. I'm recording this part of this transmission on Moon Day, the 16th, yesterday on Father's Day. Hope you all had a most beautiful, blessed Father's Day. All our amazing dads, all our amazing divine masculines all over this realm, anchoring in the divine masculine code. We send you so much love, blessings, and bliss. Thank you for being a good father to your children. It's very important. You see, I'm now a stepfather to 3, a daughter and 2 sons, my sacred condors, children. Been here 5 years with them, and it's been a great joy and a lot of lessons and learning and beauty and, familial things. It's all about family, everything we do, our work, our energy, and then our global family, our star families, everything we do is for the children, to protect the children, keep the children safe, keep our children healthy. All our work, we fight for our children, we protect our goddesses and our children, our divine masculines, protect our people, whatever it takes. So really feel into this energy of the sun, beaming down these Christos Sophia codes, these crystalline codes in this great awakening process. Really feel your way through. You see, we feel our way through all the veils, through all the emotions. We allow ourselves to feel whatever it is we're feeling. We allow ourselves to feel the pain, the wounds, the shadows, all these things, and look at them, observe them, and love them, heal them. There's all part of our lessons, all part of our life path, our soul journey, we call it. And with breath work, our deep breathing, release every inhale. We breathe in the holy chi, the heavenly chi, the gold ray, and we exhale all negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions. We release them. It's okay to release, in healthy ways, whatever it takes to release, where you're not hurting other people, of course. We do this in many ways, through our breath work, through our shadow work, our mantras, our, sometimes exercise, sometimes you need to run, sometimes you need to yell into the sky, scream into the night, put your face in the earth, hug a tree, punch a punching bag, just to release, it's okay. We don't need to hold on to these things. In the West, especially America, just children hold it in, don't express what you're feeling, especially as a man, you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to, all these things, you know what I'm talking about. Hold in that feeling and emotion and create a barrier around it, push it down until you're like a pressure cooker ready to explode. That's why, it's okay to feel the fear, it's okay The worst thing we could do is be afraid of fear. Now you add another layer that you have to heal to the fear itself. See what's behind that fear, what's behind that anger, what's causing what's this wound that needs to be healed, this festering thing. It's like holding a hot coal. We've all been through great trauma, most of us, traumas and pains and suffering, all these things to push us over our thresholds, to lessen. We've all had, most of us, I can't say everyone, some walk different paths, but most medicine men and women that I've known and trained with and learned about and studied under and with, and had petty tyrants. I had multiple petty tyrants, especially as a child, going through torture, physical, emotional, mental, all these things that, helped me navigate, through these times. I went to every master I could find, in the world to heal, this troubled mind, this troubled body, troubled spirit, all these things, until I made peace with all my demons and made peace with all my shadows, and it doesn't mean they don't rise up from time to time. Of course, we all get aggravated. We all feel fear. We feel, anxiety. We feel these pressures. We're in the craziest time that ever exists in this world as we navigate through the chaotic node from the Kali Yuga into the Satya Yuga. We knew this wasn't going to be easy. Every day there's challenges. And how we feel, what we navigate, every day I'm doing my practices, yoga, qigongs and exercise and all these things to keep my vessel healthy, doing superfood smoothies. Some days you just wake up with a pounding headache that's getting blasted with these solar rays, and the Schumann's blasting us into multiple timelines. I've trained with masters in quantum jumping and dream work, all these things, shamanic work, trained in Taoist arts. I trained in a temple monastery over 33 years. I trained and taught, and every kind of healing modality you can think of, Chinese medicine, shiatsu, just to help me to navigate through these intense energies. It's all part of the process, and it was all part of the learning experience to help us in this now. We use our tools, our teachings and practices to help navigate these final energies and these unknown energies coming in. This has never happened in eternity. What we're experiencing now, this great ascension and this great awakening, and transforming, collectively as rainbow body, light body of infinite multidimensionality. So we'll continue this transmission in a different portal. Tomorrow I'll be journeying to a very special portal in one of my most sacred portals here in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest. Now I'm on the Ring of Fire. You see, I came from the East, Ohio, 47 years. I lived there. I've been here 5 years, and my sacred Condor yesterday, on Father's Day, we're on a journey where I just talked about in another video where we brought in the energies. We saw the beautiful, glorious Mount Hood, and to the south, we're by the Columbia, and we saw Mount St. Helens to the north, and just the peak of Mount Adams to the east. We're right in the middle of this trinity, this trident, this pyramid, right in the middle, pyramid, fire in the middle. So we're in this fiery vortex, and the white peaks were just glorious. So through this week and through this transmission of my Sacred Condors guided meditation, we're transmitting the energies of these white peaks, these still mountains, this glorious energy, divine feminine, divine masculine coming together as the eagle and the condor. Thank you. Be blessed, be well, and we'll continue in the next portal. Namaste. A'ho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. A'ho. Greetings, beloved beings of light. Thank you for sticking around with us. The second part of today's transmissions and teachings I'm here in the sacred river, literally standing in the waters here. It's very slippery rocks. We'll see what we can do here. This part of the teaching transmission, I will transmit to you the gnosis, the knowledge, the shamanic knowledge on how to shift your awareness to what we call your second attention, or the unknown, what in the Toltec tradition, the Toltec lineage of shamanic arts, we call nawal, or the unknown, or second attention. This is how to shift your awareness into an altered state of higher consciousness. You see, many of you come to my channel and our teachings here and on Patreon because you realize and you feel that you may be trapped in some kind of time loop. And this is not false, you know. There's a lot of evidence through your life to show you that you're in some kind of loop, some kind of repeat pattern. You know, through many things, through deja vu, through witnessing repeat patterns in nature and in your life. Many feel like they're on this wheel that keeps on turning. You know, wake up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, repeat, rinse and repeat. That kind of thing. We see this repeat pattern in nature. You know, this changing of the seasons. Summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, and it repeats. You know, it's the Ouroboros, this time loop. You see, we see these repeat patterns in time and in calendars and dates. You see, our true self, obviously, and truthfully, is eternal and free from these time loops. But when we're in a physical vessel, when we're in a 3D reality, when we're in the matrix, we see these patterns. And, you know, we seek beauty and spiritual arts, teachings, nature, to break free from these mundane cycles, these repeat patterns. And, you know, you see this thing, this symbolism and these patterns in movies and shows, like the Groundhog Day is a perfect example. Groundhog Day, where he had to live the same day over and over. But what's funny is, like, each day changed. He could change a little, so it wasn't an exact repeat pattern. You see, quantum physics tells us there's infinite time loops, infinite timelines, and each one differs just slightly, infinitely. Some very diverse, some very different, but there's infinite timelines. So in our mind, we don't want to repeat these cycles of suffering, especially when you go through great trauma. You know, you realize, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, you don't want to repeat the same life over and over. You don't want to repeat these patterns and cycles. So the Sifus, the Roshis, teachers, you know, myself, I'm a guide, a teacher, to free yourself from these cycles, from these patterns, from the mundane. You know, from this wheel of samsara, the wheels of illusion. You see, while we're in the matrix, we realize that, you know, through deja vus and synchronicities, all these things, that in a sense, you know, Sensei Agoi would transmit to me, nothing is as it seems, nor is it otherwise, but the seemingly repeat patterns. And yes, you know, we see it in mathematics and numbers, especially geometries and stuff like that, these patterns that repeat over and over. It's like the Mandelbrot set, you know, these fractals that, you know, the more you zoom in, it looks like it's changed, but eventually you end up at the beginning. It's the alpha into the omega into the alpha. But ultimately, we want to break free. You know, we want freedom. We don't want to repeat the same pattern over and over, especially if it's a pattern of suffering, a pattern out of coherence, you know, these patterns of duality and suffering and struggling and all these things. You see, so the masters, they developed practices, teachings. See, many of you most of you come to this channel on YouTube or join me on Patreon to receive the gnosis, the knowledge of how to free yourself from suffering, from these cycles, from the mundane, from, these types of prisons. You see, what I offer you is the key, the information, the knowledge, but you must do the work. Ultimately, I can't free you. You must free yourself. I give you the key to the door that unlocks. You have to turn that key and you have to open the door and step through by doing the practices. You see, the meditations, the Qigongs, Neigong. One of my Sifus would say, each path leads to the same source, but pick one and go all the way with it. It's that shiny object. This one didn't work. After a week, I'm going to try this one, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, because you want to experience, the mind craves diversity and complexity because it doesn't want, this mundane repeat, patterns of cycles over and over. And ultimately, the archons want to pull you into these time loops that it is the same thing over and over and over, telling you you'll never be free. When we go through great trauma, we feel like we're in some kind of prison. When we're suffering, we feel trapped in this body, in this world, of the mundane. You see, when I was going through great torture, trauma with one of my Sifus many years ago, I said out loud, because I felt like, man, I could never free myself, like everything I did, I could, I was not free, So I told him, I said out loud, it just came from my deepest core wounds and shadow that, it never ends, it's too late. The archons want you to feel like it's too late. You can't do it. Just give up, you jumped on too late or, so I said, it's too late and it never ends. My Sifu cracked up. He couldn't stop laughing. He's like, how could it be too late and never end at the same time? I said, that's the paradox. It feels like it's too late and the suffering never ends. When you're trapped in these cycles and patterns, that's how it feels, but it's not true. It's not too late. And there is an end to suffering. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And this gnosis, this knowledge of these spiritual arts that I teach on Patreon and on this channel, it's all to help guide you. You see, I'm just a key holder, simply a lineage holder of many lineages. I don't know what will work for you, but whatever resonates with you, pick that path and every day practice the art. If it's Qigong, Neigong, shamanic arts. This teaching here is a shamanic art, and it is a rainbow body art. Each lineage has their own form of rainbow body teachings. It's all about getting into the silence, the stillness, seeking the kingdom of heaven within. If it's zazen, sitting meditation, kunlun, neigong, 5 elements practice. You see, we have the wood element, the fire element, the earth element, the metal element, and the water element. You see, I'm standing in the waters of water, kidneys and bladder. You see, the water, the divine feminine. You see, many of our star seeds, many of you watching this now, through your life since childhood, maybe your kidneys, your bladder have been attacked by nefarious beings or by false energies. You see, what I teach is to heal from these traumas, from these wounds, and to transcend the suffering and to heal the inner child, to love the inner child and to heal these wounds and transform these shadows into the light. See, when you realize your true nature of Buddha mind, the clouds dissipate, the clouds disappear, and what's revealed is the Son of God, the Son of truth, the Son of love. This is the light, the still white magnetic light at the center of all things. So in this practice, see, in the Toltec tradition, in the Toltec nation, the lineage of the shamans, you see, They teach, the shamans, the seers, the sorcerers, the Gnostics, the men and women of knowledge of the Toltec lineage, teach that it is our internal dialogue, the constant monkey mind, the constant thoughts that hold this world together, hold this world of duality, the suffering, and it's that constant pattern in the brain, the thoughts that keep spinning and spinning nonstop. See, meditation is to turn off the internal dialogue, even just for a second, for a moment. So we say to stop the world, you stop the turning, and that opens the pathway, the gateway to freedom. You see, just for a moment, you can stop that internal dialogue, that spinning of these wheels stops for a moment and opens up that vortex, that portal, that stargate. See, this is very special for the solstice. Solstice means sun stillness. The sun rises in the same location for 2-3 days and then starts moving again. It is the center, the stillness. So in this practice, you can stand, sit, doesn't matter. Knees gently bent. Your eyes can be open, closed. Take slow, deep breaths in and out your nose. Watch the thoughts rise and flow. Don't try to stop them. Just observe whatever rises up. I have to do laundry, I have to do the dish. Oh, I forgot to do that. No, let it come and go. Don't try to resist. Just realize that this is autopilot. The brain is on autopilot. The internal dialogue just runs itself. It takes conscious effort to stop it. And the effort, it's effortless. It's allowing the thoughts to come and go and watching them like the trees in the wind. Be the observer, the witness of your thoughts. And smile into your heart. Smile, smile, smile. Ground, ground, ground. Feel the energy of this very powerful portal. This is Lewis River here behind me. I think it's one of the tributaries off of the river. We have a beautiful hawk flying overhead. It's a beautiful sunny day. There's a nice breeze. The water's very cool breeze, cool waters. So as you smile, if anything rises up, any archonic false energies trying to pull you into the past, into some past trauma, or trying to pull you into some fear, this bad thing's going to happen because, you're taking the time to free yourself. Everything's going to try to stop you, Anything that rises up or tries to get to you, just ignore it. Simply ignore it. Let it go. It'll dissipate. It'll disappear. It's when we put our attention on something and then try to resist it. What you resist persists. These stones are very slippery here. I'm going to try not to fall in the river for all of you. Give you all a good laugh. I am Heyoka, but I don't feel like getting wet today. So just for a moment, all it takes is a moment to turn off that internal dialogue. Once you become the witness and breathe and feel into this now moment, automatically the mind will shut off. And you'll see, it's different for everyone. You might see a portal open. You might just see the world stop. You might see, as you shift into your nawal, nawal, your second attention, which is your higher self or your alternate self, parallel self, the unknown, the brujo, the sorcerer. The sorcery is to tap into source energy, to become a conduit of spirit, of Holy Spirit, of the Great Spirit. When we turn off our internal dialogue, we tap into the Tao, the way. You see, I am, presence is the way. The I am, your natural self, your true self, your true nature, Buddha mind, your original mind. What is your face before your parents were born? That's a koan of Zen Buddhism. Who am I before existence? Before time and space even existed, that is my eternal self. And this is a direct experience. This isn't just words and symbols. You know, these words, these concepts are merely fingers pointing to the moon. They're guides, you know. See, the gurus, the sifus, the senseis, shamans, they're not here to be worshipped. I'm not here to be worshipped. I'm here as a placeholder, as a key holder, lineage holder, as a guide, a way shower. I'm here to inspire, uplift, and activate. A huge branch just fell off of that tree. The elementals are speaking to us. Thank you, Great Spirit, for giving us these messages and bringing us our messengers. For our teachers, our ancestors, you know, I'm very grateful for every master that trained me and took the time to transmit mind to mind, heart to heart. I sat at the feet of many masters to receive this knowledge. So if you need help in turning off that internal dialogue, put your hands into like a claw. You see, I am trained in the eagle claw, you know, of martial arts and of the healing arts. You see, so put your hands. It'll bring your awareness to your hands, to your body, help assist you get out of your head. You see, we're getting out of our brain into our heart and mind. The elementals are speaking to us from behind. You see, they're bringing the energy forward to all of you. So feel into it. Whatever rises up, allow it to move through you. You might feel the chills, the bliss chills. Let it move through you. Allow it to lift your spirit. Allow it to move through you. Anchor into the grid and anchor into the crystalline core, the crystalline heart of Gaia, of Mother Earth, as we rise up to the holiest of holies, the heavenly spirit, the Holy Spirit, infinite source creator. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I take refuge in the Buddha of infinite light and infinite life, of the pure land of the rest, the west, the red Buddha. Here now, Amitabha. Amitabha, Buddha of the pure land. You see, the pure land is the new earth. So you can also walk if your eyes are open. Try not to focus on an object. Have an open focus. Just open your awareness, bringing in all this information, all this light, all this resonance, all this frequency. Hold it for a moment. Look to the heavens. You can close your eyes and just let go. Let go, let go. So we feel our way through and through and through until full compression breakthrough. So you can hold your hands out in front of you in the eagle claw. Palm can face earth together or to the heavens. See which one feels the deepest for you, the most power, the most energy. Bring it up and then down forward. See, we are here in the final days of the false matrix to hold the codes, the keys, to hold the line of our benevolence, of our freedom, of our joy, peace, calm. We are the calm within the storm. So do this practice as long as you can. 10, 20 minutes is fine. You don't need to do hours a day. Just take each day and practice turning off your internal dialogue and see what rises up. Let us know in the comments what you're experiencing if you do this practice, what you witness. Things will rise up, things will dissipate, some will disappear. This can manifest in many ways. You might have a powerful release, something you might have been holding on to for years and years and years, might just in a moment will release. All that's holding you back, all that might be preventing you from your peace, from your freedom, from your healing, will release in a moment. It's all it takes. This is eternity, here now, in this body where I always am. So stick around for the third and final part, and then my sacred condors, beautiful guided meditation for the solstice gateway. Let her sacred divine feminine, Magdalena, divine goddess energy heal you, move you, release you, and calm your nervous system. For it is in this moment, in the silence, in the stillness, that is the power. It is the glory. It is our true nature. Emptiness is form, and form is emptiness. So continue letting go and flying free, like the eagle and the condor in divine union, both internal and external in this now. Thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of this transmission and guided meditation. Namaste. Greetings, beloved beings of light. Happy Solstice Portal Day. I'm recording this final piece here in my most sacred portal on the morning of the solstice. So hope your day is most beautiful, blessed. We just had some pouring rain here on my way here to this portal out in nature. I've filmed multiple times in this most sacred portal for all of you over the last several years. So I want to complete this piece today. You see, I tried to record yesterday all day. The whole day got away from me. Juneteenth, it's like, when did they make this up? My sacred condor and I took our 3 children to the DMV to get IDs, and it was closed for Juneteenth. Like, I thought this was a fake made-up holiday. I thought it was like May the 4th be with you. Is this a mandala effect? You see, I say mandala, not mandala. They both work, but the whole world, the universe, is a mandala, a fractal, layer upon layer of patterns within patterns within patterns, and we're navigating through this labyrinth. So I wanted to bring a very special friend here, one of my most shamanic, powerful shamanic tools. Some of you have met in the past, but this is, I believe, the first time I introduced her to the world, to all of you through this channel. Her name is Shambhala. She is a Keris, or Chris, shamanic tool. I'll introduce her in a minute. So we'll do a short talk here and a quick ceremony, cord cutting and opening the veils, opening the portal. Starting to drizzle here again. You might hear the pitter-patter of the raindrops on the leaves around me. But this canopy over us is protecting me for now. We'll see how it goes. Gaia opened up the sky here to clear for this final piece of the transmission. Now, it became clear to me this morning why this final piece was postponed till today. One of Shambhala's sisters came to me in a dream this morning. You see, Before I continue, let me introduce her to you real quick. I have two friends with me here today to join in this final ceremony of this most powerful solstice, this most powerful anchor point in the space-time continuum. So let me get her to you. So this beautiful piece comes from Southeast Asia. A very powerful shaman created this amazing being. So first, also joining us is our new Andara elemental crystal, baby blue here. I've been working with her over the last several days, and this is very oceanic energy of the whales, the dolphins, Lemuria, and Atlantis, which I may be auctioning her off soon to see what happens in the next week or two. But here I'd like to introduce you to sacred Shambhala, my Keris, my most powerful Keris. You can see this amazing carving here. This is a healing dagger from Southeast Asia. There's a powerful being, the shaman's elemental, the shaman's energy being is inside this piece here. So you see this beautiful carvings. I've had this for many years. I've used this in many ceremonies. This is for Korkain. This is the sheath here. We'll pull her out here in a second. So her sister came to me in a dream, in dream time this morning. That is Persephone, her sister. And when I first came out here out west, I gave our daughter, her other sister, Lilith. My daughter has it. She's taking care of her. So let me adjust this for a minute. We're surrounded here by some powerful energies, some magnificent energies joining us today. So our sister came to me in dream time this morning. So there's three. I only thought there were two. See, this is called Keris, K-E-R-I-S, or Chris, K-R-I-S. These are very rare, and they're only made by shamans, very powerful shamans. So there's a dagger inside here made of stone. And this is used for many kinds of ceremonies, especially cord cutting, one of the most powerful shamanic tools for cord cutting and for cutting through veils, opening up veils and also opening up portals. So we're going to do all three today to finalize this solstice ceremony. So our sister this morning came to me in dream time, Persephone. She was at my friend Jim's home, his old home in Lakewood, Ohio. And that's a 216 area code. That's where I lived most of my life. My mother and brother and sisters lived there still to this day. It's the area code 216. That's 6 times 6 times 6. So we took that, the shadow aspect of the 666, which most of you know about, and converted. It's also symbolic. The positive aspect, the light, the divine, is the Christ consciousness code. So one's counterclockwise, the other's clockwise. So we reverse that wheel, myself, my family. There's 5 of us and my mother, 3 boys and 2 girls, 3 masculine, and then my mother. So it's 3 and 3, 3 feminine, 3 masculine. And right in the middle of 216, Lakewood, Ohio, is my mother's home. Everyone always called it the Hell House. It was bright red for many years. She changed it finally after about 47 years or so, 45 years. It was this bright red, and many hellish things happened in that home. So we converted that energy, and now it's a very sacred portal. It went from the darkest of dark to the lightest of light. So, and my buddy, one of my best buddies when I was a teenager, Jim, his family still lived there, but he's in Mesa, Arizona. It was in his home, his 2 brothers. He has a twin brother, identical twin. He was there, his other brother and his mother. And they handed me the Keris. And it was Persephone, her sister. So there's a trinity of this family of Keris, a trident, and our daughter has the other one. So 2 exist in the physical, 1 in the non-physical. Let me adjust this here again. So I want to explain a couple things before we finalize this. I wanted to explain real quick why I picked the very sacred Toltec ceremony, practice, shamanic art for the last piece in the river. See, the Toltecs, they were dreamers and energy workers. You see, every lineage, every spiritual lineage, every nation through time, spiritual, religious, they all had their own form of rainbow body practice. You see, I trained with several rainbow body masters. The final one, Qing Feng Dao Shi of the Kunlun lineage, Gold Dragon Master, which is returnable rainbow body. Now it's starting to rain a little heavier. This canopy should keep us dry, but hopefully there's not too much background noise. It'll calm down here in a minute. Take some slow, deep breaths. So I chose, see, the Toltec are very special to me. All the ancient tribes and nations and lineages, you see, I've always loved the Native American, all native tribes of all nations, of all places, and the Toltec have a very special place in my heart with many others. They really helped us. The trees are talking to us, the elementals. Feel into that energy. It's very ancient energy. It's the original mind of Buddha coming through this channel. So the Toltec, originally was introduced to me through Carlos Castaneda's teachings of Don Juan Matus, of the teachings of Don Juan through Carlos's books. One of my friends many years ago, I was like in my 20s, after I had trained with several Zen masters in temple and monastery, I was introduced to the Toltec lineage through a friend and through Carlos's books. And then over the years, I've had many connections, and it really transformed and changed my life in many powerful, beautiful, positive ways, and helped me navigate through many of the shadows, the shadow aspects and the unknown. Still to this day, I practice some of these arts. So the Toltecs, and through time I practiced and studied under a medicine man of the Toltec, and then Don Juan Gennaro's teachings, and obviously also Don Miguel Ruiz through the Four Agreements. That's also Toltec. See, the Toltecs, you see, I always was obsessed with pre-Columbian art and Mesoamerica cultures through the Inca, the Maya, the Toltec, the Aztecs. The beauty of their art, of their spirituality, of their teachings, of their symbolism always touched me deeply. I'm one of the last keepers of the gnosis, the knowledge of the double-chambered whistling vessels of the shamanic lineages of the Toltec, Maya, Inca, Aztec. So their rainbow practice, through these teachings, they introduced, after the conquistadors came, the Toltecs went into the dream time, and their culture, their people, their nation attained rainbow body. Many of them, not all, but it was a collective. It was one of the only known, at the time, collective rainbow body practice. And the shamans, the medicine men and women, the brujos, the brujas of the Toltec, they called the rainbow body art burning from the fire from within. You see, that's the inten or flame. It's like a shamanic initiation, but it's converting the physical matter back to light. You see, we call rainbow body in Tibetan Buddhism, or Jalus in Tibet, Essenes, the coat of many colors. The Egyptians had rainbow body practice called the body of Ra. I'm one of the last people that remember and know the Essene rainbow body practice, but it's very complex, very complicated. And you need a team and a cave and black onyx cross. It's very complicated. So we simplify everything, through our lineages and through these final days. The world's already complicated and complex enough. So ultimately, each rainbow body practice through the Buddhists, diamond mind, diamond body, rainbow diamond. The Taoist, is gold dragon, or dragon and phoenix, you see. And it's alchemy, it's divine alchemy. So the alchemist, the symbolism of converting lead to gold is symbolic of converting the physical, gross, 3D matter back to the light, to the what we might call 5D, fifth dimensional energy, or energy body. You see, diamond light body. This is, many words explain the same concept. So we look at it from all the different traditions and lineages. The Wing Nation are joining us here. So the Toltecs always resonated. When I read the book, the first one I read, my buddy gave me many years ago. I was in my early 20s. It was I think his second book, Journey to Ishland, which really resonated with me very deeply. You see, when Don Juan would talk, I'm like, he sounds just like the Zen masters I train with. And I always loved shamanism, the shamanic arts, since I was a child. As a little kid, 8, 9 years old, I hung Bev Doolittle's paintings of the shamans with the, wearing the bear head and, reflecting in the river. I met Bev Doolittle back in about 2008. I gave her one of my Native American flutes. I used to also make Native American flutes, wooden flutes, and I gave her one that was a horse head at the end and a tail, and it was like quilted maple, a beautiful flute. I spent at least a month or two creating, and she was very impressed with it. She's an amazing person. I always loved her art. Since a child, my grandmother used to give me Ranger Rick, and one issue had Bev Doolittle's paintings. If you don't know her work, check it out. It's some of the most amazing Native American shamanic. There's a lot of hidden imagery within her images, beautiful stuff. So I met her in Mentor, Ohio, by Mentor on the Lake, off of Lake Erie, one of these powerful portals. And she asked me, "Oh, do you play too?" I said, "Yeah." And so I played the flute for her in this gallery, this art gallery, and she was really amazed and really grateful that I gave her this piece. Because she knew the art that went into it in the time, and she was very grateful. So she gave me one of her limited prints. I still have somewhere, probably in my library back in Lakewood, and the 216. So that's why, in one of these final videos, I wanted to put that teaching out to all of you to have through time and space and to practice. And you see, to simplify rainbow body to its core teaching, to its core element, to the most important aspects. You see all these trainings, you see, it doesn't matter what lineage, it ultimately, to attain rainbow body or convert lead to gold, to convert the physical to light, you must become still. It's all about the stillness within the motion, the silence within the sound, the still white magnetic light at the center of all things. So every practice, I don't care if it's Zazen and Zen Buddhism, sitting meditation, Zazen. There's two main schools of Zen. There's Soto and there's Rinzai. I trained in both. I've trained with Soto and Rinzai masters, 5 masters over 33 years, and have taught for many years. This Soto was from Dojin. He believed you sit in practice, and each moment in meditations like polishing the mirror. The mind is symbolic of a mirror that reflects itself, but it's full of gunk and goo and dirt and filth, from all the pain, the trauma, the programs, the simulations. All these things cloud the mind. It's like the cloud covering the sun. And Dojin, he believed that each moment of meditation is like polishing, cleaning that mirror and polishing it to the point in that space-time continuum, in that 0 point, when you realize your true nature, the mirror reflects itself perfectly. It's in that stillness. in that silence. You see, one of Carlos's, of the Toltec tradition, one of his books was The Power of Silence. Because it is in the silence, the stillness, the divine feminine, that the awakening occurs. So every lineage, every tradition, it was all about turning off that internal dialogue. It's that in the shamans and the Gnostics, the Gnostics, people of knowledge, understood this, that it's the wheel within the mind, within the brain. The mind is in the heart, the brain is in the head, You see, we say middle dandian is the heart and mind, and upper dandian, the spirit, it's the future, the future self we're calling into this now, or the higher self. So this, the lineages were about, they saw the internal dialogue is what keeps the world, the world of separation, the world of duality, the world of simulation, this simulated motion, movement, is the constant turning of the brain, the thoughts, the internal dialogue. It's what holds this world. And every practice, I don't care if it was, that's why they would give medicine plants to initiates, like psilocybin or mescaline or ayahuasca. That plant turns off the internal dialogue and opens up that whole other world we call the nawal, the unknown, the second attention. But you don't need psychedelics or any kind of plant medicine. Ultimately, some people need it, most don't, especially now. Meditation alone can achieve that. It's a lot easier, but there's potential hazards to that path if you're not guided by a true shaman. There's a lot of fake shamans and fake gurus out there, that have no lineage, have no real training. They're not working with the Tengri, they're just, doing whatever they're doing. So we stay out of fear, we do our practice, So even the Sufis of Islam, the Sufis, the whirling dervishes, they would spin and spin and spin and spin until they felt like they were standing still, because it was in that motion, that spinning, that brought them through the spiral into that still center, 0 point, which the solstice symbolizes. The solstice symbolizes the still center, the stillness of the sun, the sun rising in the same location. So all these practice art is to get into that still center, the 0 point, the singularity, the still white magnetic light at the center of all things. So we're going to use our crystal here. We're going to call on the power of the Andara nation and inner earth. We're going to connect. You see your body as the rainbow bridge, the Katika channel, the Sushumna. It's the central channel that connects heaven to earth, the human in the middle. It's the Trinity. You are the middle path of Buddha, of Shiva, Shakti, the eagle, Condor, flying in harmony and balance and peace. So we call upon the cetacean nation, the whales, the dolphins, the orcas, the sharks, the octopi, the mermaids, the Atlantean energy, the Lemurian energy, to be with us through this final piece here, through this final ceremony, to take us into the new earth, into the new Lemuria, the new Eden. So we call upon the whale nation. Let us connect with the Agarthans and with Telos under Shasta, our beloved Shasta. Now, if Adama of Telos resonates with you, connect with Adama or any of the Telosians and the Agarthans and Hollow Earth, Inner Earth, our benevolent beings that are inside the earth. And we connect with the star nations, the Andromedans, the Sirians, Sirius, A and B. We connect with the Pleiadians, the Lyrans, the Vulcans, all of our nations. Any nation that resonates with you, call upon them now. So we connect with the oceans of the earth and the oceans of the heaven, oceanic consciousness, and inner earth, and our nations, Our ground crew team of the 144, our starseed Earth angelics, we're all connected through this portal, through this energy. So we'll put her on the Earth, baby blue here, and we will reveal the energy of Arcturus, of Shambhala here. So we will, you can see there's little jewels upon this little dragon, Naga, lion. And there's many symbols on this. Amazing. So this blade with these curves here, made of stone, it's very sharp. This is filed down to create this wave. This is the sine wave. You can see these patterns. This is like a fractal Mandelbrot set. So feel into the energy of the being, the benevolent entity within this Keres, and see, this is like the Kundalini rising, and this is like the crown, the dragon crown of our dragon queens and kings of New Avalon. So feel into this energy. So with the power of all benevolent beings, all ascended masters, all angels, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Christed ones, the Christos Sophia. Feel the energy opening up within you. You are the portal. You are the event. This is the event energies. We cut all cords, all false cords that connect us to past traumas, to our ancestral pain, our ancestral suffering. We're freeing our people, freeing ourselves, freeing our families, freeing our nations, our communities of all false projections, all false imprints. We're cutting through every cord, releasing once and for all suffering, all pain, all duality. So really feel into this energy. The sine wave is compressing into its singularity here now. This is the compression breakthrough in this now. So feel into the energy. We're cutting through. We're opening every veil. We're releasing the veils from the mind, from the spirit. Smell the energy, the beautiful fragrance of Mother Earth, of Gaia, here now. And let go, let go, let go of any hindrance. We're freeing. All things are perfectly resolved in the unborn eternal mind of Buddha. Feel into this energy. We're opening the veils. We're opening the portals of benevolence for our humanitarians, for our good people of the new earth. We're cutting through all illusions and delusions to reveal our true face, our true nature of love, of truth, of beauty, God consciousness, cosmic consciousness, unity consciousness here now in this body of Christ, in this body of Buddha. We feel into it and release, let go, all that no longer serves, and rise up. We embody our highest self at one with Source in unity consciousness. And keep letting go, and we'll play my Sacred Condor's beautiful Magdalena voice of Divine Feminine here to complete this beautiful day ceremony. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you all for your support. Have a most beautiful, blessed solstice, and make every day the best day ever. Namaste. A'ho.
Hello and welcome to this Solstice guided meditation, a journey through light and stillness. Twice a year, the earth reaches a sacred turning point. In this moment, the sun appears to pause, hanging in suspension at the height of its power or at the depth of its retreat. This stillness is not empty. It is potent, sacred, and ancient. It is the breath between seasons, the hinge of the year, the silent pivot of time. In the summer solstice, the light reaches its peak. The days are longest, the sun is at its zenith, life ripens. It is a time to celebrate abundance, to honor what is in full bloom within the world and within you. It is a time to prepare for the slow turning back toward shadow. In the winter solstice, the night stretches longest. The sun rests low on the horizon, light scarce and golden. Yet in this deep quiet, the light is reborn. It is the turning point toward warmth, growth, and new beginnings. It is a time for rest, reflection, and rekindling hope. Whether you are welcoming the sun's fullness or its return, this is a sacred moment, a time to pause, reflect, realign, and renew. So now, find a quiet space. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts soften. And let us journey together into this solstice meditation. Begin by settling into a comfortable position. Let your spine rise tall like the trunk of a tree. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands rest naturally on your lap, your belly, or by your sides. Gently close your eyes. Take a deep, nourishing breath in through your nose and exhale slowly and fully through your mouth. Again, inhaling clarity and peace. Exhaling anything you've been holding, anything ready to release. Feel your body supported by the earth beneath you. Sense the gravity drawing you downward and anchoring you. You are safe and you are held. Now bring your awareness to the natural rhythm of your breath. You don't need to change anything, just notice. Gentle rise and fall. The quiet wave of life moving through you. With each breath, feel yourself arriving more deeply in this moment. In your mind's eye, imagine yourself walking through a beautiful forest path or a wild open meadow. The season around you is at its most potent expression, either in radiant sunlight or hushed snowlight. The trees stand tall and still, the wind is soft. There's a sacred stillness in the air, like nature is holding its breath. You step into a wide clearing. This is the heart of the solstice, the center of the year, the turning of the light. Above you, the sky stretches wide. If it's summer, the sun glows high and golden, warming your skin. You may hear the buzz of bees, the scent of warm grass, the fullness of life and bloom. If it's winter, the stars are beginning to appear in a deepening twilight sky. You feel the cool air on your cheeks, the hush of snow or frost around you, and the deep peace of night approaching. Wherever you are, this is a sacred space. You are standing in a moment outside of time. The earth breathes with you. You are not separate from this turning, you are part of it. Now bring your awareness gently inward. Picture the last 6 months of your life since the last solstice. Breathe in and let the memories rise gently. What have you walked through? What have you created? What has bloomed in your life and what has fallen away? Take your time and let moments, people, and lessons come to mind. Now ask yourself with gentleness, what have I learned? What has shaped me? What am I ready to honor, and what am I ready to release? Perhaps you imagine placing these memories like fallen leaves or harvested fruits at the base of a tree or into the earth, offering them with gratitude. They have fed your roots. You do not need to carry them forward. You are allowed to be new. Now bring your attention to the season ahead. The wheel is turning. You are standing at the threshold of a new chapter. You are invited to set intentions, not as demands or resolutions, but as quiet seeds planted in the fertile soil of your soul. Ask gently, what do I long to cultivate in this next season? What qualities or energies do I wish to grow? What do I want to call in, invite, or allow? Perhaps a word comes to you like trust, courage, rest, joy, truth, or connection, or an image, or a knowing. Whatever arises, hold it with care. Now imagine placing this intention in the palm of your hand, a luminous seed glowing with possibility. You bring it to your heart, press it gently inward. Feel it plant itself deep within you. The seed will grow in its time. You do not need to force it. Your breath will water it. Your presence will nourish it. Trust this process and trust the unfolding. Now sit with this vision for a little while. Let the vision begin to soften. Feel your breath once again. Feel your body warm and steady. Feel the earth beneath you, ancient and alive. You are not the same person who began this meditation. You are renewed and realigned, tuned to the rhythm of the earth and the rhythm of your own becoming. Now gently begin to deepen your breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale slowly through the mouth. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll your shoulders, stretch your neck. When you're ready, open your eyes. Let yourself remain in stillness a moment longer if you wish, or take your intentions and reflections into movement, into writing, or into silence. Whether you walk into light or into shadow, may the solstice bring you wisdom. May you honor what has been. May you trust what will be. May you walk forward with a heart that is steady, a soul that is lit up, and a spirit ready to grow in the direction of your own truth. Blessed solstice.
Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.